Hey, what's up, YouTube? Graylan Stewart here, virtual wholesaler, entrepreneur, and real estate investor. Hey, this video I'm going to do is about deal or buyer. Which one actually comes first? It's pretty controversial out there in the wholesaling world, from the gurus out there or the people teaching these things, on which one comes first, because everybody has a different opinion on it. So I'm going to give you mine. And in my opinion, I agree. I would say that most serious, very experienced wholesalers would agree with me. Okay. So deal or buyer, which one really comes first? Okay. So a lot of people out there teach that on wholesaling, like, okay, now I'm into wholesaling. I've got all the things in place to make a deal happen. I've got my contracts. I've got my seller script. I've got all the information that I need as far as the list goes to start making calls or doing direct mail or reaching out to the sellers by text messaging or whatever your scenario is, whatever the marketing channel might be. But so a lot of people will say, well, you got to build your buyers list first, right? Because if you get a deal, what are you going to do? How are you going to sell it? Where's your buyers going to come from? So what I will tell you is this. There is some clout to that, I guess. It is great to have buyers already waiting. So when you have a deal, it's great. But at the same time, in my opinion, that's actually holding you back from actually doing a deal. Because to me, you're focused on the wrong thing. If you're focusing on getting buyers before you even have a deal, that's like the cart before the horse. You know what I'm saying? It's like, make sure you have the deal first and then bring the buyers in, right? Because if you have a deal, the buyers are going to flock to you. Trust me. I know by experience. I'm doing these videos just to tell people my real life experiences and the truth about wholesaling and how I operate my business on a daily basis. Because, if I would have believed in that hype, as far as build your buyers list, go to all these different places and do everything you can to get as many buyers as you can, then I would have never did my first deal in 30 days, first of all. But secondly, it just would have held me back for a while, because it's just like, that's just one more obstacle, right? It's already overwhelming when you first learn wholesaling, like the whole concept. Sure, it's simple when you really think about it. And as far as the mindset goes, it's simple, but it's definitely not easy because there's a ton of steps to this to really make it a business, right? Anybody can throw some things together and do a deal here and there. But as far as doing consistent deals and making this a real business, that would have definitely held me back if I would have just spent my main focus on building my buyers list like the gurus teach you, or a lot of the bigger YouTubers a lot of times teach you. I'm not saying they all do that, and I'm not saying that's wrong either. I'm just telling you that the whole goal in wholesaling, in my opinion, is speed, right? What kind of action can you take fastest, okay? Building a buyer's list is a tedious job, and it takes time. Sure, it's important to have a buyer's list, but do you need that up front? Absolutely not. When I got my very first deal, I had 18 buyers. That's it. I had 18 buyers. I discovered wholesaling. That same week, I happened to find a local meetup in my local community. Went to that meetup, got 18 buyers from that meetup while I was there. And then I had marketing that was sent out the very next week. And I got a deal while I was on vacation. I actually got 2 deals while I was on vacation, my very first 2 deals. And I sold both of those 2 deals to those 18 buyers. So the myth out there is that you have to have this huge buyers list to actually sell anything, and that's just not true. And to be honest about it, the bigger the buyers list does not mean, the better you're going to do because you have more buyers to choose from. But that's not really true. It's really the quality of your buyers list, the better that you'll do. Because I've done that. I had 5, 6, 7,000 buyers at one time, and I didn't do any better with those buyers than when I just had a few hundred really solid ones, right? Because the same people still end up buying, the couple of hundred really serious people. And once you go and get along and you meet people and you're networking and that kind of thing, you'll find out real quick who the real players are in town, because they need you, right? because a lot of them don't source their own deals. That's why they rely on wholesalers to source those deals for them, because they don't want to spend the time, energy, marketing money, and the effort to actually get the deal, because that's the hardest part, right? So we have the goods. We as wholesalers have the goods. So buyers are everywhere wanting our deals. So that's why, in my opinion, the buyers come last as far as, deal or buyer goes. Because I'm telling you right now, if you've got a solid deal and it's a hot deal, you're going to sell that quick. If that doesn't sell in the first couple of days or so, then it's probably not a deal, or it's not necessarily not a deal, but it's not a really hot deal, I would say. Because if it's a hot deal, it's super easy to find the buyers, right? Because you just post it on your social media or Craigslist even, or, the investor groups in the local areas or whatever. And people will want that deal. They'll be fighting over that deal, a lot of times. So the whole thing is, does the deal come first or the buyers come first? I 100% say the deal comes first, because it's just like I said, it's almost like the chicken and the egg, which one, who knows? I don't know which one's first. But in this case, it's a little easier in my opinion, because it's probably 50-50 out there. Some people say the chicken's first, some people say the egg. Same thing with buyers and dealers. If you asked 10 people, you probably get, half of them saying the buyer, half of them saying the dealer. But I'm just telling you from my experience. I've been doing this a couple years, so I'm still pretty new at it. But I did have success really early on in my career. We did $72,000 my very first month. My first six-figure month was my 5th month in, and I haven't looked back since. And we're in it 2 years now. I've got a team that I run now. We do consistent deals every single month. So take it from me, in my experience, the deal is the most important thing, because without the deal, what do you really even have? What good is this gigantic buyers list when you don't even have a deal? So I would say, definitely the deal is where it's at, and the buyer is kind of secondary, right? So it's not even a question to me. Some people are like, maybe I can see you're like making arguments for both ways, which is understandable, and I'm not here to say that I'm always right on everything. I'm just telling you my experience, and a lot of serious wholesalers and investors would tell you the same. I believe that absolutely the deal comes first, because without a deal, what do you actually have? You don't have anything, right? It's like having all these assignment contracts and seller purchase agreements without an actual seller signing those or a buyer signing those. What good are they? They're just paper, right? It's the same thing. If you had a big buyers list, all you have is a huge Excel file of buyers. What does that do? Does that actually get you paid? No. You get paid on the deal, right? This is what gets you paid every time, I promise. And as far as when you get that deal, calculating the correct ARV is most important in getting the deal, because if you have the right ARV, everything else falls into place. If you're off on that, then you're probably going to mess up, or you're going to leave a lot of money on the table, or you're going to have a deal that you can't sell, right? ARV is pretty important as far as calculating an offer and getting that with a seller. But we go into that on other videos, but just telling you right now, in my experience, when we're talking about what comes first, buyers or the deals, every time it's hands down. I'll say it every time. I've said it in multiple groups, investor groups or wholesaling Facebook groups and all those different things. I always chime in that obviously it's the deal, right? Because the deal is what controls everything, right? Just like you as a wholesaler control the deal when you have it, because whoever's in control has control of the entire process, right? Because a lot of times buyers will try to bully you into doing what they want, but you got to keep in mind that you are in control because it's your deal, right? They don't have anything without you. So it's the deal, absolutely 100% comes first, and the deal is what's most important, and that drives the entire process. So that's it for today. Hopefully that makes sense to you. deal and buyer and why exactly I think deals are more important, because anybody can have a huge buyer's list. I know people that have giant buyer's lists. Actually, I traded a buyer's list with someone that ended up doubling my list, early on. And this wholesaler, I love him. He's a good friend of mine, but he just does like one deal every 3 months or so, which is fine. That's what he likes and what he needs. No big deal. So he probably makes 40, 50, 60 grand a year just from his handful of deals. But at the same time, I want to do more than that. I like to move fast, make money, and have fun in the meantime. But the point is, he's got this huge buyer's list, but what good is it doing him? Because he doesn't have the deals, right? So that alone should tell you that deals are the most important, and they always come first. Because if you have a good deal, I promise you, every buyer is going to be after you, okay? So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe and share this content, and join us on future videos. We're trying to do at least 2 a week, but shooting for 3 every single week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So please tune in and join us, and comment below too. Let us know what your thoughts are, because maybe you're the opposite of me. Maybe you think a buyer's list is more important, but I'd love to know what your comments are, or if you agree to me. Let me know that too. So give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I don't really care. Just like it, share it, and subscribe. Talk to you later.